Hello, welcome back. Hello, how's it going, everyone? Please sit down, relax, take a seat on your butt, for I will be spitting more words of particular philosophy, of particular political point of views, just basically what I've been always doing, describing the material condition at hand, to which we all experience with turning those gears, provoking thought, asking questions in a healthy dialogue. See, we're dialecticians. We're the communists. We are of the people who takes conversation seriously and utters words of meaning, not just of reactionary nonsense. So today, as you see in the chat, the negation of culture. The limitations and foundations of both production and culture. What does culture negate into production? Production negates into culture in a revolving kind of development. So whatever you produce, society then consumes. That consumption then brings about a culture, a particular way of using things we produce, which then spurs ideas, we can get into that a little later, about new ways to produce. Culture and production. Historical materialism, classic, the definite sequence. How things occur in a particular order in history told, in a relationship which builds upon another and is explained by the previous, right? And then, of course, summating it all, a cultural revolution, in the which ways we need to conduct ourselves, having already the basis of capital to produce socialism, to now not only just create the machinations of socialism, but to create the actual culture and the development and being and the behaviors made common, habitual, to conduct yourself in a socialist society, no longer to be reactionary and tell people off because that's their problem. We all know, as socialists, as the communists, things are systemic, inherent, because we live in a system of people. Let's see, people are inherent to the system, but so is the system itself. So the big mass of all the people's labors and such contributed also affects the whole mass of people themselves. I mean, it's a dialectical relationship. One person over here does something and it effectively grates a lot of people over here. That's kind of why we live in like a finite world, right? We acknowledge the finite world. Capitalist doesn't. Capitalist says infinite profits in the finite world and all that. And we get to that point right here. What a wonderful segue. So I'll present to you guys three quotes that's going to spark this infinite profits in a finite world, this overproduction crisis, kind of links it to fundamental change in society. I'm pretty sure everyone here, of course, already knows in live. But for those at home and those if you want to engage in this thought, understand how the capital system inherently fucking sucks. Let's get into it. Marxists say nothing is permanent except change. Let me get you guys over here. There you go. Let me start. Marxists say nothing is permanent except change. But this does not mean that the things of nature change only by themselves without human direction or participation. It is precisely because of man's increasing scientific understanding of and mastery over nature and his society that the processes of change can be directed and hastened. We are intentional. We are intelligible. We have consciousness. We have this thing which allows us to direct the maneuvering of the material condition. We know how to build skyscrapers. We know how to build the iPhone under the capitalism. We know how to hold water in such ways where we can have transportation, keep ourselves hydrated of this water. Glorious technology. We apprehend it in such ways, direct it in sort of ends, to our benefit, of course. Next. Production. The struggle to transform nature began with the advent of man has differentiated him from all other animal species. Animals normally eat the raw meat. We cook our meat in such differences. In all times past and in all times to come, man is ever involved in the struggle to understand and master nature for productive purposes and for widening his freedom. The general level of production determines the general level of knowledge and the kind of society possible, meaning that in a Bronze Age society where the only ever most technology have developed is bronze, not like the advent of electricity, light, this specific use of fire or heat or the applications, the development of technology has ever reached bronze, you're going to get a bronze style culture. You're not going to be fawning over bronze and whatnot. In some technological advances you may, AI, but in the Bronze Age and era and where the technology has only ever advanced to bronze, you're only going to get a bronze kind of society. Same with gold, steel made possible steam engine, right? You couldn't do that with bronze. Now the culture of the steam engine ushers in on the basis of this producing of steel. There is a base of this production that founds culture and which gives us an ability to experience with such technologies in that culture. Because base production has provided and produced, you then have a culture to enjoy it from or enjoy it on. Here's a big old chunky right here. This is the main point and the reason why. The attack and critique on capitalism. The previous two quotes help you build this understanding of the crisis of overproduction becomes an occasion for the big capitalist firms to swallow en masse the smaller firms that go bankrupt. The drive towards even greater concentration of capital continues unabated. The economy becomes revived after so much waste and after the winning capitalists have grown so much bigger than before and start to rehire the unemployed. A period of boom follows, only to end up in another bust that is worse than the previous one. This again leads to a higher concentration of capital in firms fewer than before. For those who say this is crony capitalism, this just is the basis of private property ownership. There it is, the superstructure and base relationship right there in the chat. That is because whatever you can produce and whatever you can have, what makes what you can enjoy in life. In the most modern, you didn't have AI generated videos any period point in time to the capacity we do now. People are deep faking videos of people doing stuff that they didn't do. AI I'm pretty sure we all know how it is. I mean, like you can generate AI pretty convincing videos. I don't want to admit it. For a split second, kind of got tricked by a couple of them for a split second, but what I'm saying is it's very convincing that what you can create with the technologies that we have now. It wasn't possible in time beforehand. Now, with the technologies of the 50s, it was never possible at that one point. Also, to the technologies they had now, back to the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, technology is always at the peak and pinnacle of its time, to which then creates the top most available of the cultures. Back in feudal times, you didn't have the technology to not explain a god. Therefore, the legitimacy of a god is there. But we have science to disprove that, right? And we have ways and methods to go about understanding that. That's why it is not the common scheme now, and outside of the most, religious of settings and acknowledgement of God isn't real. Now, and that sort of talks we'll get into. But Veblen talks about those talks called the critique of the devout observances. And it is this putting of the faith in the non-material, the ideal, right? But when we go about discussing technology and development of, we have ways and explanations, more or less coercions types of stuff to get us into a specific rhythm and a specific motion and movement because of what we have produced and what we are consuming. If we produce in such ways overproduction, right? The crisis overproduction, where we make 1 million fidget spinners and only like 800,000 of them to sell, and then there's no more market for fidget spinners and you have to throw away the other 200,000, that's the waste. That waste then becomes of something that founds this new level and stage of this capitalism, of this development of private property ownership concentrated, to then it just repeats. More concentration towards those who have, taking away and making those become of those who don't have, unfortunately. But that is not just a sad poem, a sad poet. It is the material reality, and it is what we live in. And we can see what's happening through our understanding of the material condition. We could see and articulate and understand what it means to live in such a world, right? There's an apprehension, like for the first quote right here, right? It is this precisely because of his increasing understanding, his grasp, his I know what to do with this. Why is God has changed? Oh, why? Real. Which leads me to these three terms. I like to describe capitalism very well. Capitalism to me describes in this very summation of schemes, of fields, of worlds, of descriptions, competition, privacy, barbarism. Now this barbarism founds, that's why it's on the bottom. That's why it's post last. The last term you describe summarizes the former two. Barbarism founds privacy and competition, to which the engagement of these schemes is what you see here in society. Competitiveness, individualism, privacy of property, barbarism. What clearer example of barbarism that is in a society that chooses to kill people under their code of conduct and law without addressing these systemic issues nor the material condition that makes the individual, rather than hastening to the fact of the ideal because the material and the individual does not conform to that ideal. To what systems that we create? Why do we kill people? To conform to the ideal. This is barbaric. This is barbarism. People call this a civilized society because people don't have to hunt for their food. Call it a barbaric society because the laws and the systems kill people for fun. This is barbarism, baby. This is call it how you see it. Rosa Luxemburg. I'm always gonna drop this quote. I'm paraphrasing. I should probably look up the actual quote. We might do that now. You know what? Before I even spit it and say it, don't mind all the tabs. Sorry. Oh my God. Please look away. Rosa Luxemburg. It's the quote about call out what you see it. Then it's like revolutionary things you can do is call it how you see it. Luxemburg. I think it's like one of her famous quotes. Yeah. We'll try to find some. We can also do some digging. Where is it? Right here. Exactly, word for word, bar for bar, that I did not say it in. The most revolutionary thing one can do is always proclaim loudly what is happening. Back to what is happening. What is happening? What is competition is what is happening, I am seeing. And the alternative, association. Ooh. Privacy is all that I'm seeing happening and going on. Privacy to what the alternative? Socialization. Ooh. Public? I don't know. You name it. Barbarism? What is the opposite of barbarism? What is the antithesis? What is its alternative? Civilization. We don't just kill people for fun. My goodness, that is not a dialectical relationship. Because someone is bad, something in the material condition is making them act this way. Not because they enjoy to do it or want to do it. They are simply just not understanding the material condition as we all are. It is a correction that needs to be. It's more of like what they say rehabilitation centers need to be. To rehabilitate, not to just commit in a coma of psychosis all day, every day to embed them from society. No. We address contradictions. See, that's why I love talking to the communists, talking to the socialists, talking to the dialectician, the individual who understands contradiction. It's so beautiful. You point something out and you talk and you discuss. And no animosity. Of course, we'll have differences in opinions, but we rectify those, reconcile those. A clarification of the material condition. So debate and argument, my goodness, it is within the competitive schemes. Nay, they may even go closer to a more colonial scheme, this debate and argument, this conquering of which within founded on patriarchal relationships. Now, I may be going a little bit too harsh on this scheme, but I prefer the dialogue. See, a debate itself requires a winner and a loser. Oh, that person won that argument. This argument is no longer valid. The context and critiques of this argument is now moot because someone won an argument. This is the winner, prevail. This is the pursuit. This is the ideal. Oh, there it is. I let it out loud. I'm sorry. Our debates are ideal. I don't know. You'll never catch me in a debate. I don't like arguing with people because there's so much better ways to understand the material. Because first in the basis, what are we talking about? The ideal argument argues what you think of what something is. The material dialogue brings about a discussion of what actually exists in the material condition. Phone, pick, water bottle, competition, privacy, and barbarism. It is, I'm getting a little bit heated up over myself just because of the amount of people. And this also kind of goes with, I didn't watch it, but I've seen a whole bunch of TikToks on it, the Jubilee video. I'm like, how are we allowing this platforming of fascists to be aired? What? No, get that guy. Someone beat that guy up. Probably a little bit more than beat that guy up. Like, what are we doing here? What's going on? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Sorry I had to see that. I refrained from it. I saw a couple clips. The only clips of the dude saying that he was a fascist and people clapping. People clapping. That is the base mode of production, competitive privacy and barbarism, which produces these values consumed within the superstructure to allow such heinous individuals to permeate and exist. My goodness, get them out of here. Maybe Lenin was right. Maybe the USSR actually did something, because if you understand who the people were absolutely no longer here. Those landlords, capitalists, the liberal, the individual, fascists. My goodness. Wow. Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. People showing the true colors. People just like saying the thing like it's not even like a Freudian slip anymore. Like something, it's just outright blatantly saying it. Yeah, no, I love how we go about killing people and whatnot. I love how we go about doing this stuff. This is amazing. This is like one of the best things that we could do ever. So, negation of culture and limitations of foundation. So from this competition, privacy, and barbarism, just to reel it back. The negation of culture, the current culture is this: competition, privacy, and barbarism. How do we address this rectification of trying to turn to the alternatives, we go about addressing them. What makes capitalism competitive, individualistic? What makes privacy within the system so prevalent and desired and held on to? What about the system, and how does the system go about creating barbarism and this absolute slaughter of ourselves based off of the ideal and not the material, right? So, fear is a strong one. I was close to writing a critique on fear, not like I hate fear or whatnot, but like how I could, just to critique what bases fear, what gives fear. To the most of extent that I have gotten is just simply just not knowing. To the most existential basis, not knowing. You fear because you do not know. Fear is this just not knowing, therefore not having. Because when you don't know, you don't have knowledge. When you do know, you have knowledge, therefore you can do. When you don't know, you don't have knowledge, you can't do. Not doing is a restriction. No one likes to feel restricted to its most present sense. Scarcity, not having, yes, not presence, this lack of presence. So as the most existential basis, the lacking of presence. And the lacking of presence is what we have here in the inverse, a lack of association, cooperation, a lack of socialization and publication, a lack of civilization, and a lack of treating with one another, respect due, because we exist and we are here at its basis, existence. And as the outlook says, material existentialism, the purpose and point of existence, not just life not yet, but existing as you are being here, as the thing in relation to the phone, to the water bottle, to the other things, to this mic, to the camera, to my face, to you. You just exist. We're here. Pause. We're just here. We're just existing. And that is the first and foremost basis we understand things. Because how do you understand and study an object at hand? When you're picking up an object for the first time, investigating or learning about something new for the first time, more often than not, especially when it's not at hand with you, you're not going out and trying to use it, right? To the intellectual who can, understand most things, which it's most of us because we are conscious, we can understand and apprehend these things. We don't just pick up the gun and start shooting it. Imagine an open, empty room, right? You're presented with some object on the thing, on here, right here. You start fiddling with it. You're not just immediately going to it for the purpose in which you can use it. You have to study an object at first. When you see something for the very first time in throw, we go about this investigation of this thing first with the observable senses, with your normal senses, your taste, touch, hearing, feeling, smelling, all of these senses, to which then interpreted, understood in a mechanical process, because all of this is all material. Your body's material. All of these senses are material. An interpretation of which, and this is the juice, this is the squeeze. Whenever you think, the individual undergoes a process of rearranging the material condition in the immaterial condition, which the immaterial condition is not restricted and bounded by the same restrictions, limitations that the material condition is. So therefore, you can get such immaterial rearrangements of the material condition in here, which do not match and line up with the material condition shared. The juice. Because everyone goes about this. How I think the world is not how the world is, right? But to attune to an apprehension understanding, to its point to know why things are the way they are in a dialectical relationship, because all things are connected, we come closer to this explanation, and thus the understanding of the material condition becomes ever more so much a reflection than it does a rearrangement because of our apprehension of it. Why do things fall to the ground? Why do things push when I push them? Why do things, why does the water boil on the stove, right? How does fans create wind so that I can cool myself? And how does the heating up factor occur in my body for to have the desire of cooling myself? These processes are all connected in this such dialectical relationship of need, want, and dependency. All right. I'm coming down from my high. Okay. And so I do get a little bit of sidetracked, and I know we had an agenda, but dependency, that's a big one. We're going to talk about dependency. So a little bit sidetracked, but it's all connected, right? And so when you think of dependency, when you hear dependency, right, I like to accompany it with the word matriarchy, dependency. But matriarchy itself exists in antithetical as the other form of, organizing in the which ways. So patriarchy, hierarchical, from a top down, from a point to another. So it doesn't have to be top down. It's top down, but it's also in a relationship defined, right? It's not like a matriarchy where it's a circle, and where a matriarch centers the care and give of everyone. So, just some visual examples of what I think of the triangle versus the circle, matriarchy and patriarchy. So we talk about dependency, and we talk about a dialectic relationship. The Appropriation, appreciation, in the schemes exist among us all. Think about it like this: the appropriation of dependency, patriarchy. Is that not so? The appreciation of dependency, matriarchy. Is that not so? Does the patriarchal relationship demand of and take from its dependent? Yes, of course, patriarchy. Does the matriarch take care of, in support, and having a relationship healthy among its dependent? Yes, of course, yes. This is the relationship observed. This is the dialectical relationship. Understanding that the system we live in is the former, a patriarchal relationship, a relationship that takes from us, takes from its dependents. We depend on society to live in the conditions that we do. I can't hunt for my own food. I was never taught to, nor do I have the means to hunt, nor is there any field or range for animals for me to hunt reliably, sustainably, right? For myself, for me, for the environment, for culture, whatnot. No, we have, because, I'll bring it up again. Where's that damn quote? Love this quote. The general level of production determines the general level of knowledge kind of society possible. We are already at the stage in development of which we can have not automated food, but food prepared in such efficiency on the level of production, overproduction we have now, to feed. If we have an overproduction crisis, why do people think we have a problem with producing? Well, it is because that there's a lack of understanding of how to produce. In a matriarchal society, there is no this overproduction crisis. There's this only just need fulfillment. We have solved the problem of feeding all people. This problem has now been solved. There's no distribution problem in matriarchy because all to which get they need. And that's it. According to their ability, according to their need. Matriarchal society, or the society at which antithetical to this patriarchal one, this taking away of the dependence, this giving of the dependence, is the aim of revolution, because it is, of course, revolutionizing the patriarchal society. In the aspect whole, capitalism retained patriarchy because it did not pursue the basis of existence, but the basis of production, which then advertently affects existence. But to the points and aims of appropriating property first and foremost in the patriarchal relationship, and having of which you kind of get the kind of society possible now because of such relations of production. So what do we do in our revolution? Understand the things around us not to be appropriated, to be appreciated. Love my water bottle. iPhone, no communism. Earbuds, stings, stuff like that. Right? You appreciate, not just to be like, oh, I have this, now I can use it. I have this. What can I do with this to make things happen? I have this now. What shall I do? Not to the ends of me, to the ends of we. Shall we go about the development of society and the struggle that we all exist with? And that is the existence, or the struggle to exist. Because we live, sorry guys, I don't mean a Debbie Downer, but we all die. When we live, we die. Boo. Sorry. But this is the point of existence. This is the point of existing. I mean, and how do we want to govern ourselves about it? In the patriarchal society, in the society that makes, exploitive of the dependents? No, I don't want to be an exploiter any more than I want to be exploited. How about, quick thought, no exploitation. Just do away the whole thing. Just don't need to do any of that, right? Because I'm going back to this, because it is precisely because of our increase of scientific understanding of nature, of society, of how things become in process, do we make capable of building a society in the ways that we want because of the general level of production that we have apprehended to avoid such overproduction crises that occur every so often because of our ignorance of the material condition. I mean, I couldn't have picked a better 3 quotes from the book to explain why you don't need to be doing stuff like this. We all have within our understanding raised, and this is why education is the most important part of revolution, raise this consciousness to allow for the individual to understand, if we hoard resources and not enough people get what they want, people die. Now, if you don't care about people dying, first, fuck you. But let's say in the instance where you are the common liberal and where it doesn't affect you in your immediate condition, then you didn't care about it. Okay. That lowers. Now, if you are a liberal, you love capitalism. You like capitalism. You kind of want it. You say you don't want it. There's another quote. We'll get to it. But let's say you want capitalism, right? Because of the ways and the system and structures you want people to live in. Respect people's rights, all rights, rights to own capital, rights to oppress, rights to, cause famine and genocide, rights to do that. People have protect those rights. In the development of the society, Why would we want to go about doing that this way? It lowers capital because it lowers the supply of labor, which negates capital. So it may not lower, but it restricts it. The lowering of the labor force and power also slows down the production. You want people to live. Here's that quote. I don't want to bring it up, but it seemed very relevant for that time. I wrote down just 9 quotes from here. Right here. I'll highlight it. Here we go. The Marxist understanding of revolutionary violence as the people's sovereign right against oppression is no different than that of the liberal Democrat. Such right is always implicitly and explicitly upheld in the liberal democratic institutions. The only difference lies in the goals. The Marxist wants socialism and the liberal Democrat wants capitalism. I want, as the Marxist-Leninist, as the communist, want your right to not die and your right to be given housing, food, by a state, a society. All of these things given to you because you exist. You are here. No one has to be here. You're here and throw. Here you go. Here's all what you need to survive and exist on. There you go. Have a good day. Oh, and then by the way, you will be working. Why? Because, well, you're here now. We've given you, and like, what else are you going to do? Right? And what do you like to do? Let's talk about that first. Let's not even throw you in a position of labor. What do you like to do? What's going on? Because we're all crafted through our material condition. Babies at first don't even know what's going on. They're just out here hanging around. Just find out what the baby likes to do, make that baby do that thing, and all of a sudden they'll want to produce. See, in a twisted way, don't get lost. In a twisted way, the capitalist doesn't know how to command their slaves. Just doesn't know. The socialist does. The socialist gives you what you want, ensures that you have all the things you need to live and are happy, and we put you to work doing the thing that you love. My goodness, I think we've cracked the code. This is silly. Why are we going about letting people doing what they don't want to do? Forcing people doing what they don't want to do in a society that doesn't care about them. It's crazy. We say it right here. The liberal Democrat wants capitalism. They want to protect the right of owning property, privacy in such ways that allow for the exuberant allocation of labor and money to be held within the few. And that is what society is, what we have been gaslit into believing, that yes, these people have rights. Boom. These people don't have fucking rights. They take away so many rights, they don't even have rights themselves. They're living on, dude, I'm telling you, billionaires are living on borrowed time right now. They borrowed so much of everyone else's value. They're going, and it's not going to be a big old peaceful death either. I'm telling you that right now. It's not going to be all nice and handy dandy and whatnot. The people are coming after the same ways that the people were coming after guillotines and kings and such and whatnot. Anyways, Basics of Principles of Marxist-Leninism by Jose Sison. That's where all these quotes are from. Read it. Good summary of Marxist-Leninism and the basics and principles of it. Cool. It really just does go through over. It's like a 200-300 page. I only got quotes from the first 100 pages, and then I just got sucked into it. It was really good. So yeah, Basic Principles of Marxist-Leninism by Jose Sison. Good read. Should probably look into that. Anyways, my goodness, water. Cultural Revolution. The demand for dialectical change. What does that mean? What do we got? Dialectical change is this: understanding that when one thing happens, another thing does as well. When capitalism privatizes and accumulates, there exists this taking away and stripping away of other people's havings. So then they become the not having, because so many people, or so few people, have so much. The having, the not having. A dialectical relationship. When every force has an opposite equal reaction, every action has an opposite equal reaction. When your fist hits the wall is not just hitting back at you, but you're feeling the effects of the wall's rigidity and sturdity, while the wall's feeling the force of you pressing on it. Reaction, action, reaction. This dialectical relationship is not just reaction. Just because an action happens doesn't mean that you make totally entire just your reaction. Very silly, very reactionary. Haha. So we go about this understanding of cultural revolution in this light, this dialectical relationship. How do we go about making the change from competitive, private, and barbaric society? How do we go about this to an associative, cooperative, public and social, and civilized, not barbaric society? How do we go about that? We understand what capitalism does, right? Because how it produces, we can understand how it produces. Well, pretty sure we all know how it produces: through exploitation, commodity production, the creations of technologies apprehended to the bent and use of bourgeois interest. So every time something comes up with brand new Marvel technology, oh my God, how can the capitalists use this for profits? That's kind of the immediate thought that people go to. And it kind of sucks. No, it doesn't just kind of, it does suck. Because what do you mean you're going to use this life-saving, amazing technology for a private profit in a competitive economy, in a barbaric way of society? This is insane. This is crazy. What do you mean you're going to take the technology that could save millions of lives and try to make a buck off of it? A buck or two, maybe three, but three more than what is needed to have people here in society, right? I like to blame it is this individualism. So the reason I put individualism here, because this individualism actually founds and schemes all of these things. There are times and places where you can be competitive. There are times and places where you can be private, and there are times and places where you can be barbaric. And barbaric goes to the natural schemes of the individual, but more so the organic and biological schemes of the individual. So that which is not so civilized, what we will not see and experience out in society. Right. So there are ways in which we can. It's just when you do it everywhere and everywhere on the basis of how you act on society, the society kind of fucking sucks. I mean, what do you mean I can't go out to my neighbor and be like, hey, you want to hang out or something? Or like, I can't go like travel wherever I want because people say I need to like make thousands or hundreds of thousands of millions to like live a healthy style of transportation, of flight, of like traveling, stuff like that. Why is that barred and barriered, right? Why are some things barred and barriered? Why is anything barred and barriered? We don't live in a free society. We live in a society in which your work must be bent on the profit makings of someone else. Someone else must be profiting off of you as the worker. As the capitalist, your job or your occupation, your whole existence is bent on exploitation. So it's bent in both ways. For the worker, it's bent towards capitalism in its subjugation, and then for the capitalist, is bent towards capitalism for its appropriation, right? Yeah, it's probably the whole bent. Yes, you can't procure a profit, Alex, but you can't procure a profit without having someone miss out on something. You can't have excess of something that you had and made unless someone else is getting less than what they provided and put it in, right? That's the basis of exploitation. Someone getting more for what they didn't do, someone getting less for what they did do. That is kind of where you get your exploitation, your profits. And then for the masses, amounts of millions and millions of people not getting what they need, to the relatively few for getting what they don't work for. How do you go about addressing this then, right? Because the whole justification of it, and if you read Wage, Labor, and Capital, Profit, oh, there it is right there, the book right there. Yeah, oh, sorry, I was seeing that. If you go about this Wage, Labor, and Capital books, you get explained very well how the individual is screwed in production. We read a little bit of last time or a couple of days ago. And this goes into the cultural production. We're not done talking about that. The cultural revolution goes occurring about understanding what needs to be done, Lenin, in the ways of our understanding. No longer are we looking at our other individuals like that is competitive, that is individual scheme, let them they be, it is what it is. No, it's oh, look, fellow human, let us salutations. How are you doing? I'm acknowledging you. See, a thought a while ago was to usher in revolution, not only making it the common scheme, you also have to acknowledge your other fellow human. I'm always the type to be like, glance at them at least when we're passing by on the street. I'm just not to be like, womp, womp, just flip, beep, bop, boop, beep, no interaction whatsoever. Acknowledge your fellow human. Just say, hey, how's it going? Or, what's up? Acknowledge, because then you know people are real, right? You don't acknowledge all the time. If you do, kooky person, cool, hit me up. Lampposts, fences, sidewalks, cars passed by. No, you acknowledge fellow human because you know that's a living damn thing. You know that feeling that feels, you know? You know that thing feels, and acknowledgement is an appraisal, is a positive feeling, I'll say at the least. It's validation of existence. Good thing to have validation of existence, because then you exist, right? When the individual doesn't feel like they exist, it's more of a metaphysical understanding. But when the individual doesn't feel like they exist, it's not really good. It's not a good thing. You kind of want to feel like you exist, because then you want to be acknowledged. This non-acknowledgement within our schemes, competition, privacy, and barbarism, only to focus on self, acknowledging yourself as the one, rather than acknowledging yourself among the whole, like acknowledging everyone else, builds your foundations of individualism, which then brings about competitiveness. Me, I, you, I, us, them. Privacy, mine, yours. Not mine, not yours. Barbarism, privacy in general. competition, this away from rather than to with, right? Coming of together, this understanding, this dialectical relationship, this cultural revolution, this saying no, I will not be participating in this weird, gross, competitive, private, just kind of weird. So I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to do what I want to do to the ends and bent of helping my fellow people. I mean, what else are you going to do, right? Society will have you tell you otherwise. Oh, take care of yourself. You must take care of yourself. You need to have what you need to have for yourself. We don't need to see the protection that belong to us. To take the badge. Oh, this is. Hold on. This is the strike redirecting labor. So Karl Marx says this too. I'm not sure which work. I'm not sure what work this is. But this is this sentiment. Marx understands that. What do you say? I got it. Scribing. I got it. Socialism is already here. Now hold on. The capital necessary, the amount of technology available, and the organization, like in theoretical, as a framework, as the capability and capacity, it's already here. It is here. So yeah, when we say seize the means of production, I mean, it's already here. I mean, they already have it. Because I love this talking about. I love this. Who works the machines? Who labors the machines? Who actually produces value? Who invests their labor directly as a sweat, as a blood, as a tear into the systems of capital? The laborer, the worker, we already have. There just needs to occur a cultural revolution. Bada bing, bada boom. Yes, it's already, so it's not like they're just completely gate kept away from us. We literally have chains on our arms and like wrists, and we go into work with these chains on, and then we couldn't we have no chains. I have a sewing machine. I know people have like industrial equipment at their homes. We have, and not even at that point, in the workplaces too, they're already set up for us. Who owns it? Who is there every day working and laboring on the machines? Who is there advancing their particular skills and such the use of the machine to apprehend it in such ways to make the value? The worker, the person of labor, the individual who is being appropriated in such ways, the exploitation of labor. The worker, the person, you, the cashier, you, the individual person of stock shelving, the accountant, the barista, the person who actually speaks face to face with the consumer worker. Because we all know, we all know that most, if not all people in most areas are also workers. It's us who take care of us. I provide to you, I consume from you. This mutual, you're gonna love this, horizontal relationship. And we're no longer you, the worker, whoop, vertical, you, the consumer, whoop, vertical. Meat. And that's the sign for meat. Is that cool? Meat. And then you say you set your separate ways, right? No, it is a horizontal relationship. He, and where you address one another, because who takes care of one another, right? Think of onions. Ooh, onions have layers, right? In these matriarchal relationship, there is the onions, the very center of the matriarchy. Oh my God, onions, layers, there's one whole thing. Oh my God. Matriarchy, relationships, dependency, this meeting of each other horizontally, understanding each other's needs. See, that is the breaking of the way, the cultural revolution of this competition, verticality, privacy, verticality, barbarism, verticality. Right? Breaking down these such schemes, appreciate verticality. Now, there are such ways to do so, but we found ourselves in the first and foremost appreciation of things at hand, things that make us be and become, whether we like to or not. We exist in the material condition, and thus we exist with all things of the material condition shared. So we must go about a particular orientation of the way to go about the ownership of things. Oh, sorry. I've read the word ownership. The going about the way of existing of things. In which ways we must, because otherwise we be barbaric. We revert back into privacy and be bent to the schemes of competition. Yes. Yeah, because everything is local. See, you get to a point, a strata of which, and where you don't really own anything, right? Like this concept of ownership to the communist, the concept of ownership to the individual of greater understanding, we'll say, higher form, we'll say. Not saying anything. Ownership's a weird concept. What do you mean I have and own something? It just exists. It's just here. If someone were to come in, God forbid, oh my God, this would be entirely scary, come in to take my earbuds case, I'd be like, my God, what the fuck? What the hell? Who took that? I wouldn't be like, oh my God, he took my earbuds case. I'm like, oh my God, what prompted this person to do that? I'm terrified and scared. It's like the person stealing and robbing a car only takes a couple pieces, right? It's like, yeah, sure. It's like someone were to steal my car, I'd be like, damn, that sucks. Like my car, but like I'm not gonna be like, that's my property. Commodity fetish, so much worth of me. Oh my God, no, I'm not gonna do like. It's weird. I'm like, yeah, sure, like it's my stuff, but like as you said, it's more like you're managing a community resource. Or it's like, oh, you need something? Come here, my guy, my dude, my lovely little jelly, we'll make it over. We want to work. That's the basis of our society, or what at least what it to be. And the direct alternative to what's on the screen, competitive privacy barbarism. It's just, hey, what do you need? I got it for you. We have it for you. This cultural revolution, this no longer conforming to this current status quo. The status quo hinders revolution. Yes. Time is it? What are we at? My goodness. Water break. Okay. Who sounded, yeah, loss of utility, but manage resources. Oh yeah, no, because it's like a allocation. Like those. Speaking from a material existentialist perspective, we go about this understanding of we have time, object state of relation. And this object state of relation exists in multiple phases, but this object state of relation is this presence and having of with in relation to one another, right? The havings of which exists in a temporary state. Oh, no, you're good. Exists in a temporary state. I'm just darts eyeing everywhere, eyes dying. I'm a little more stimulated and active. So when we go about this object state of relation, presence, having is a temporary state of being. Having is at which you can occur with in a moment, to which the default state, quote, is this not having, but presence among. So when you're at your job, right, and when you're at laboring, you're not with the tools which you are right now, but you have the proficiency, the expertise, the instinct of workmanship to labor upon those at a given moment, because you are present with it, but you do not have it. This presence is absolute, because we can articulate ideas and concepts and whatnot, observations of the material condition, given in our words that we can articulate it. That's what I'm trying to say. So we may not be having, but we have presence of these things. We have a going about and understanding of how things are the way they are. Through this, we live in the one world called the material condition, and we all live in the same condition. So if I describe something out to you, the ways which it is seen and understood, then you should be able to recognize as well. Oh, yes, this is that. Sky is blue, grass is green. Arachnids or spiders, that's what we call them. Computers, technology and whatnot, and all this whatnot. Chairs, stools, boiling pot of water. You know what I'm talking about. You know what these things are, right? So I like to describe when you describe things out in the material condition, it is one-to-one, exactly how you describe directions towards something. There is a definite sequence, a particular orientation of going about how to direct yourself to a particular concept, observation, idea of the material in relation to another from where they are at, meeting people where they're at. So as the dialectician, it is not just your job, it is a duty and responsibility, just as the revolutionary. Revolutionary's duty and job responsibility is to usher in revolution. Dialecticians is to help people understand where you are at right now in relation to the thing that we're talking about. My path and my which way, my particular orientation is not going to be one-to-one to you. We have to understand their perspective, their understanding into the relation of what we are talking about as a whole, the dialectical relationship. So it's describing and backtracking out of a maze. It's like your point here, this is the point, and you're this person started on this side of the maze and you started here. You figured out how to get to this point of the maze. This person's still trying to figure it out because they exist right here at this side of the puzzle. Let me see if I can see my screen. Let's see if I can draw this out for you. I like drawing stuff out, try to see if get the idea better. So I'm not gonna get like a big old maze. I can't even make mazes. Let's start drawing up a maze, right? Something like this. So as I'm drawing this, will be like the scenario at which I'm trying to describe is when you start at life, when you exist in life, life doesn't come at you with some sort of blueprint. You start here. Let's say you start here, right? So you start here. The point is right here. This is your point. Your stars. Collect the star. That's the point of life. We'll just call it the point of life, right? So we go here. Someone start here. Someone starts here. Someone starts here. Someone starts here. This over there. You have different starting points, right? So imagine this puzzle or this maze. It's completed. you have a completed puzzle right here. Yeah, this is what a maze looks like. So you have a maze. Everyone starts at different points. Let's say you you were here. You made it, but not everyone else. Okay, this is as most I'm going to go. You've made it, not everyone else, and people are still building their maze and for which they can navigate in such the exploration of life. This is wherever the point of is that people in their respectives feel like the point of life, because people who have made it the point or made it that point, like I know my reason existence for life and whatnot, kind of metaphysical. But you get the point. People at this point have an understanding. I know what to do to going on and stuff. Other people are like, I don't even know. Some people haven't started. Some people are barely building the puzzle. Some people are still on the journey of going about understanding what this life is even about. It is the job of the dialectician to help people, right? Because they haven't built their puzzle yet, just go, whoop, whoop. There it is, right there, right in front of you. To which then they can build the puzzle around them or shape, like, different areas before they trek the journey of finding the true meaning of life. However, which way, but the whole point is the point of the puzzle, right? Everyone goes about it differently. And we help people understand how to go about it. It's not just because you made it to the first, you're inherently better. I've solved this first maze of life and whatnot. I've done this. There are many different aspects in which to consider the development of people and the different areas in which they start in and the different obstacles they have to go through to reach the same goals that we have. Maybe it may be easier for someone. Maybe it's harder for someone, but maybe some people haven't even gotten there yet. Some people are not going the right way. That's okay. We all live in this life, but there is this particular correct orientation to the development of things and in which way we want to do it. We want to have a stable and fun society where we all have a nice, jolly, jubbly time. In the current society now, we see the exact opposite of that. So we critique the current society and be like, what can we do to not replicate that, right? What can we do to not do that? And I think, we're not even close to done. But that was one analogy. Just as the dialectician, when you start here and you build your maze and you build your whatnot, you get to the point of life, you help people structure and build their understanding as well. It's hey, do you understand this? No? Well, take this. It's like, a beautiful analogy my little brother came up last night. So instead of simply teaching the man how to fish, teaching the dude how to fish so that he can get his own fish, feed a man for a day, he lives for a day, he eats for a day. Give a man a fishing pole, teach a man how to fish, he can feed him for life, stuff like that. We're at the point of society. My goodness, it's coming up. It was a big topic for me this week, apparently. The general level of production, in terms of general level of knowledge of society. If the fisherman does not have access to a fishing pole, well, he's just not eating at all, right? You have to give this fishing pole, or in the liberal society, in this capitalist society, the fishermen got to go buy a fishing pole so that they can fish, right? Why not in this matriarchal society, this providing of, this loving of the dependent, this appreciating of the dependent, to go and give the fishing pole? The fisherman knows how to fish already. In the privatized schemes of capital, the privatized mode of production, the fisherman does not have, for he must buy this fishing pole. He knows how to fish already. Most people have to fish. Yeah, he may need assistance. My goodness, this is, oh my God, how do I want to phrase this? I love the disability community. Because, what an ignored population, like, especially so. I mean, everyone. But when we go about talking about disability, it's not like crutches, ice, and spice. There's a statistic. Most people who have disabilities grew into them. They weren't born like that. Most people aren't born disabled. People are grow into, or because of the material condition, become disabled, however which way it occurs. But it is an ignored population because of what we prize: competition, privacy, barbarism, the peak athleticism, the social Darwinism, this ability, this ableism. My goodness, ableism. Gross. Yeah, well, we talk about, I don't know where we got to disability. But I love, like, fishermen, yes, broken arms, need accommodation. Like, in the ways we go about developing society, especially into socialism, it cannot be ignored. The introduction and the inclusion of all people in that liberation must be present. Should any population and should any person be not in regards to that, then of course we don't have a proletarian revolution. We have a revolution mimic of the bourgeois, that of separates, that of differences, that of the appropriation of distinctions. We don't do that. We don't do that around here. We appreciate our distinctions. We appreciate our differences and understand that we are the way they are because of the material condition, not just because they inherently are, oh, that person did a bad thing, they are inherently bad now. What? No. So if the system, if you were held at gunpoint to do something, would you want to? If you valued your life, right, you kind of like, you want to live, right? Stuff like that. So like, these like incredibly like weak, fake, funny scenarios. Like, well, what if this? What if that? And I'm like, well, what about this? And what about that? That we are both experiencing right now, instead of these just weird hypotheticals, these mental tests, these brain strains that people try to conduct. And be like, oh, trying to loop you into a logical fallacy. And I'm like, well, obviously, clearly, this person doesn't want to talk about the material condition. This person doesn't really just want to be talking about, I don't know, anything that has any substance to which we go about founding our understanding of the material conditions. No, just play with your thoughts. Yes, that is the redirection of labor after withhold. See, you withhold. That's annoying. You know how we'll go. You know how to go about this withholding, and this withholding must come with a redirection. This opting out. The opting out of capitalism is your withholding with redirection of your labor. Join a time bank, maybe learn a skill, mostly talk to your people. Building connections first and foremost is a very important thing. We can do a whole session on that. Building connections, building and establishing communication networks, knowing who to talk to people, knowing who you can be in contact with, who people to contact and whatnot. Knowing who. Because people have, right? People don't just like, in this non-having society, people still have what they have, labor, right? So our labor is what is redirected, so we can invest it in particular areas in which we want to see develop. Like, I don't know, systems and institutions that address our needs directly from the people, from the resources and whatnot, local to us, right? Is it intentional? But there is this stage of development in which must occur, to which we want to build such capacities, because the nation itself sustains itself without even knowing, even though damn near every state hates each other. Every single state just does not like each other as far as the the political domain of the state. I'm from California. I'm from Texas, from New York, Minnesota, Florida. I'm from Massachusetts, Wyoming, wherever you name it. There is this internal antagonism. It is the separation of borders. It is bourgeois nationalism to the state, right? But all of a sudden, when you go after the state, and this is where it gets reactionary, all of a sudden these people you're from Wyoming, oh, you're an American. Oh, if you're from Texas, you're from Massachusetts, you're from Oregon, Ohio. Oh, you're an American. Oh, you're from the States. Now all of a sudden, bourgeois nationalism grows, but only to the point of that nation. Never, ever will such the liberal or the capitalist take reign and pride for a country and nation greater and beyond. Like, there's no capitalist for NATO. Like, what? Unless they're just the hyper individualist. Oh, I don't care about kind of ANCAP, anarchist capitalists. I just want businesses, no laws, no rules, regulation. I just want people, laissez-faire capitalism. Yes, that is making the juice. It has been squozen again out of nowhere. I'm seeing it happen. This is the making of the common scheme. So, a little bit snippet, a little bit of history, a little bit of context. When the French Revolution was happening, everyone in society was already the peasants, the class were like, I don't know what's next. I know that there is something that is going to be next. Get these people out of here. Get these squoes. See the word squeeze just wasn't profound enough. Squoze when I talk about phenomena. And this capitalism won't go away until there's a functional alternative. Yes, this is the making of the common scheme, a functional alternative which emerges from us. Capitalism emerged from the bourgeois. Feudal relations emerged from guilds and the journeyman, right? The skilled laborer, the laborer who had the tools and means and whatnot. We emerges from the little inklings, little instances of when we conduct strikes, of when we conduct tabling events and addressing the communities and having whatnots and so whats to have for us, right? Not to give away to others. That's that withholding and redirection. Withhold your labor, redirect it into your community, your spaces. Intentionally. It is this intentional effort, intentional, intelligible, to which then makes a common scheme of now, because now the common scheme is this: freedoms, rights, liberalism, individualism, how we go about minding my own business. It is what it is. I think, therefore I am. Nonsense. This talking about the appropriations of money and whatnot, and talking about credit and capital, and be like, oh, my business this, or my job this, and how much do you make? Oh, don't talk about that. That's taboo. People still, and it is to this day, don't talk about their salaries. The only thing is taboo. What a primitive culture. What a primitive understanding of the material condition. Absolutely bonkers. The developments of which, of course, correct orientation to our own benefit, the people's benefit, is this: making it a common scheme to address one another, acknowledge each other. Because in capitalism, I don't even say hi to my neighbors. Well, mostly because I never see them. But I never see them. I try to say hi. I usually get a, and then that's it. Call me the weirdo. But then when I go out to spaces and whatnot, like in communal places, and I'm like, hey, they're like, oh, hey, what's up? And it's not even like, oh, hey, how's it going? How's it doing? We're too far removed from each other. It's quite sad. It's quite uncool. That's it. Went a little bit over. 5:02. That's it. That's it out of me. We're done talking. I'm done talking. We need water. Hanging out. I do have a hard stop at 5:30. I got a commitment at 6. We're reading more. My God, more reading. I've read a lot. Thank you all for being here. If you need to go. No one's holding you back. We'll be here for another time next week. Same time, 4 p.m. PST. Maybe we could talk a little bit more about stuff, but thank you. Appreciate all of you for those who have attending here, watching here. Just take care. Have fun. Be proud of being a commie, anti-capitalist. Be proud of not aiding in the system that kills people. That's pretty good. Let's see. Yes, we're all tired. Oh man, just say it. Call it like Rosa Luxemburg's. Call it how you see it. That is that. Yes. Thank you all. All power to the people. Peace and love. And no grace period. I'm just going to end it right here. So I'm leaving. You're leaving. But we'll convene. Come back to each other. Bye. Love you all. Take care. And be safe.